When I chant the names of the divine that are meaningful for me, the first name I speak is Gaia, the Greek earth goddess whose body was the planet. I have said for some time now that to me, the earth is the body of the divine. Gaia is also the name of an outlandish scientific theory developed by chemist James Lovelock and microbiologist Lynn Margulis in the 1970s, a theory that suggested that the Earth was one organism, with life on Earth acting to maintain a stable planetary temperature and a particular balance of gases in the atmosphere, the way our body systems work together to maintain homeostasis. Like the goddess it was named for, the Gaia theory has been all too easily dismissed as full woo-woo. But Ferris Jobber, both in his book, Becoming Earth, and in the interview excerpt Joanne shared with us earlier, is right now asking us to reconsider Margulis and Lovelock's proposal. I love it when there's science to support something that I knew was true all along. And I love it when science helps me explain why something I know in my bones is actually true. My earth-centered spirituality and my fascination with understanding the more than human world through science go hand in hand. The wonder of science is a spiritual as well as an intellectual pursuit for me. In 1933, our religious ancestors, both Unitarian and Universalist, signed on to a pretty radical religious document, the Humanist Manifesto, which began, quote, "First, religious humanists regard the universe as self-existing and not created. Second, humanism believes that man is part of nature and that he has emerged as the result of a continuous process. Third, holding an organic view of life, humanists find the traditional dualism of mind and body must be rejected." End quote. It is our inheritance from the humanist movement that allows us to come to church and tell the story of the Big Bang alongside other creation myths, as we did last Sunday. We count among the inspirations of our faith sacred, secular, and scientific understandings that help us make meaning and live into our values. It is the legacy of our humanist heritage that we claim science explicitly as a source of religious inspiration. The Humanist Manifesto goes on to say that, quote, "Religious humanism considers the complete realization of the human personality to be the end of man's life and seeks its development and fulfillment in the here and now. This is the explanation of the humanists' social passion." End quote. Now, I love this, but this is where, to me, maybe the humanists didn't go quite far enough. As the name and the manifesto suggest, the human experience, human personality are of utmost importance in humanism. But has all this focus on humans caused us to miss some other kinds of persons in the more than human world who have been here all along and whose well-being is intimately connected to our own? As a mother, I feel a deep compassion for Talekwa, the orca, who once again this year carries her dead baby's body with her long after the baby had passed away. Whales and dolphins have relationships. They call each other by name. Elephants carry the bones of their dead loved ones with them, and they teach their children and their grandchildren where to find water across the family's territory. The idea that these animals are sensing, feeling beings is very hard to argue with. Not to mention our beloved animal companions, dogs, cats, birds, horses, and other domesticated creatures that we often know care for us as we care for them. So where do we draw the line of personhood? The country of India recognizes dolphins as non-human persons. And an orangutan in Brazil was granted non-human person legal status, ruled to have been wrongfully imprisoned in a zoo and released to a primate sanctuary. I'm convinced that the elephant, the whale, and the dolphin are all people, along with some of our primate kin. And the lines could be drawn even more broadly, my friends. The line between humans and animals is blurry because it is a human invention that doesn't really exist. We are just one of the animals here, one form of life, just one of the children of Earth, one way the Earth is alive, cells in the Earth's body. I heard evolutionary ecologist Monica Gagliano say yesterday on the Radiolab podcast that we humans are very biased toward thinking that brains are the be-all and end-all, and so we overlook the complexity of creatures without brains. Dr. Gagliano was doing research on the way plants perceive and respond to their environments. Like plants, the whole Earth doesn't have a brain. But the life on Earth has so many brains. Earth knows itself through the way Earth's living tissues, all us living cells, the way we know the Earth, with and without brains. For billions of years, since life first began, the planet has been shaping life, and life has been shaping the planet. At this moment, humans are just a blip in that long story of the alive Earth. And yet, we are dramatically affecting the homeostasis our living planet has maintained over the epochs and eons. We, the creatures of the Earth, are the sensing, feeling organs of this planetary body, and we feel the planet growing hotter. We see Gaia's temperature regulation and atmospheric gas balance disturbed by human actions. I think maybe humans need some humility. And this is where I think humanism needs to go just a little bit further. Yes, every human should be able to experience the complete realization of their personality. But so should all the other persons that make up the living planet. And that whole must be acknowledged and considered. We humans need to take ourselves down a peg, as my grandmother would say, from ego to eco, from the dominant species on the planet to just one of the living systems of the Earth, and one that is malfunctioning at that. When our bodies get a virus, the virus forces our own cells to replicate its genetic material, to make more copies that then go on to make us sicker and infect other people. The worldview that tells us that the Earth is a collection of inert resources to be exploited, even though that is accepted as truth across much of our culture, my friends, it is a virus that European colonization has spread across the globe, a virus that is killing life as we know it. If we, right here in this community, can heal from that virus, then we can go on to be immune cells, challenging the virus of exploitation and extraction and helping more of our siblings wake up to the truth of the deep personhood, the deep interdependence of all life on Earth, all the expressions of Earth's life. But we need to be careful, because this virus that denies the personhood of all but humans, it also creeps into our relationships with each other and denies the personhood of humans perceived to be closer to the Earth, including women, children, and people of color. Womanist theology looks at sacred texts, usually the Christian Bible, from the perspective of Black women. In just this past decade, womanist theologian Reverend Dr. Melanie Harris described what she calls eco-womanism, which is, quote, a critical reflection and contemplation on environmental justice from a womanist perspective, and more specifically, from the perspective of African and Indigenous women. Eco-womanism links social justice agendas to environmental justice and recognizes the similar logic of domination at work in the parallel oppressions suffered by women and the earth. That is, just as women of color have been historically marginalized, suffering racism, classism, sexism, and heterosexism, so has the earth suffered due to debasing and devaluing attitudes about the earth that suggest that non-human beings, earth, have less status and worth than human beings. Regrettably, this kind of anthropocentric attitude has resulted in many human cultures adopting hierarchical views and dualisms that have resulted in a new climate age, the Anthropocene, resulting from the impact of human life and lifestyle on the planet, end quote. My friends, I hope you come here on Sunday mornings and throughout the week to help you unravel and break down those hierarchical values and dualisms that live like a virus inside us all of us who have been raised to see the earth as just a thing to be exploited. I hope that you come here to heal from this virus that is killing our human and more than human siblings, and then I hope you go out and share what you learn here with the world, spreading the antidote for the virus of exploitation and extraction throughout this amazing body that we all share. That antidote, which is love. Around Christmas, we talked a lot about the importance of the shepherds in the Judeo-Christian tradition, how the Hebrew God Yahweh and the Christian Messiah Jesus are both referred to with this metaphor of the shepherd, keeping their sheep fed and safe, protecting and caring for the people under their care. When we sing together, as we will in a moment, that we are called to be keepers of the earth, we don't mean keep as in own or hoard or keep away, but rather keep the way the shepherds do with their sheep. Tend, nurture, support, heal. We are called to be keepers of the earth the way our immune systems are called to be keepers of our bodies. Let us gather together again and again to tell old and new stories that remind us that the earth is one living being, that separateness is an illusion, that we are cells in the great body of life that is the living planet, my beloved Gaia.